and welcome back to Wingscast, to a playoff chase Wingscast, something we haven't said here since the birth of Wingscast. What do you think?
I think it was before the birth of Wingscast. We were talking about playoffs. I don't know. Right now it's a perfect storm for the Wings. To really attempt to sneak in here. And there's a lot of different opinions on whether they should or shouldn't, buy or sell. But let's just talk how this looks and how this is maybe going to line out here. First things first. You got Ottawa back to back Monday and Tuesday,
Yes.
and Ottawa's same amount of games played. They're 4 points back. So if Ottawa were to beat the Wings twice in regulation, they'd be tied. Really, those are two really big games right to start with, against a team that you're basically in competition for a spot with right away.
Yeah, we're in playoff mode right now. Like these are playoff games that we're playing because the schedule we got the third hardest schedule in the league right now as we stand, and at points we had the first hardest schedule. So we've been playing playoff hockey here for essentially a month and a half, 2 months, ever since Thanksgiving, if you ask me. Really impressed with the team how they've dealt with the injuries. I mean, we've had some pieces kind of come back, and then a big piece right now missing with Raymond. We don't know how long he's going to be out. But
I think they did say that Raymond was going to be back for one of the two Ottawa games.
Okay.
So you'll have Raymond back. Rasmussen now out indefinitely. Looks like probably some sort of ligament. I don't know if it's a tear or what, but
That'd
he
be,
got hit
yeah.
side of the knee with that puck, and yeah, they basically just came out today and said indefinitely out. So that's not good because he was playing really well on that second line as a shutdown line. Um, we'll
Yeah.
see. It definitely hurts.
Oh, it
But it's
does.
just,
It does. I mean, you get into the playoffs. I mean, and like I said, I know we're talking playoffs and there's some, voodoo around that. But I mean, you get into these games and, we're old enough to know, probably more than some of these guys that are playing right now. Like guys like Rasmussen, Bertuzzi, some of these grinding guys that shut these top lines down are just as important, if not more important, than our goal scorers. I mean, obviously, you need goals to win the game, but you also need guys that keep teams like Tampa from scoring three on you. And we saw that case yesterday, and we just ran into an extremely hot goalie.
they're into a
But
hot goalie, but really that second line has been what they've been
Yeah.
going to for shutdown. They've been
Hmm.
playing against, they played against Stamkos. Top played against Stamkos the whole night and basically made him a non-factor. So
Which is
him
what
and
we got him
Ras,
for, apparently.
you're not getting goals out of him. But
You're not.
you say Bertuzzi, man. Bertuzzi's been the last 2 3 weeks has not really been impressive. He's been the worst player in the top six overall, in my opinion. Couldn't corral pucks to save his life last night most of the time, and just a little slow. I don't know if that's some of the injuries or what, but he hasn't impressed me at all. I'm still in the trade Bertuzzi camp. It's not going to happen, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know. I
it's
mean,
going to have to be a lot to give him up. I mean, you hear rumors of him being off the market, and of course, we'll dig into this later in the week when it comes to the trade. But we're going to need him if we do sneak in because we come across a team like Boston or a higher. Who else? Who would we run into if we were a seven seed?
Carolina.
Carolina. We can't beat Carolina for some reason. I don't know why, other than they're just way better than we are. But if you run into teams like Boston, you're going to give yourself a chance. Your second, third, and fourth line
You
has
think they
to
have a
be
chance? You think they have a chance against Boston in the first
no,
round?
no.
Okay,
I
okay,
think the
okay.
yeah, we come to it's not even close. I think Boston probably whoever wins is coming out of the East because it's that I feel like it's a curse for us because we go to the West. And remember when we were in the West, whoever came out of the West went playing teams like San Jose and Anaheim, and they were just bigger than we were.
Colorado.
And then you come over here, and the West doesn't even compare to the East. I mean, we get Timo Meyer gets dealt, and he's in the East now. I mean, it's where you got to
Yeah,
go
the
through 2, 3 hard, probably 5, 6, 7 games of just getting the shit kicked out of you.
the East is gearing up for a bloodbath of a playoff. Um, you're gonna see Tampa and Toronto again in the first round. That's gonna be a heck of a rivalry because
Oh man,
that's just
a
gonna be
couple
crazy.
pops for those games. I'll probably watch those games. I mean, depending on when they fall, if Detroit makes it, I'll probably be more attentive to those games. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
but it's going to be good hockey. Man, is it going to be good hockey? I'm excited.
I don't see anyone beating Boston, like, just in general. I think Boston's just too good this year. Um, I mean, we'll see, but, they got Orlov now too, which really helps them
Yeah.
defensively. But, I mean, just looking at, like, the Wings, right? Like, how do they get there? You basically have to win all the head-to-heads, right? Of against the Islanders are probably the team, I think they're 5 games up, but they're 5 points ahead. So, if you play 500 hockey, you're just gonna tie them when you get there. You'd have to play above 500 hockey. You gotta beat Ottawa the 2 games. Those are winnable games if you're playing well. And then, you got the Islanders Saturday. Then you got Pittsburgh, which is or not Pittsburgh, I'm sorry, but Philadelphia Sunday. It's a back-to-back. That game should be winnable. Chicago next week should be a winnable game, assuming, Kane should be gone off Chicago by then.
Sure.
So, and then you have a week from Saturday, you start a back-to-back against Boston, home and home. So I mean, if you want to see, what it's going to look like in the first round, that's a good chance of what you're going to see if you make it in. Then you have a little bit of West Coast. I think you play Nashville, who's pretty depleted now.
Hmm.
Um, then you have Colorado, who they've been kind of weird this year. They haven't been really good, but
They've
it's still
coasted pretty
Colorado.
much the whole year, which is kind of telling of how good they can be. But still, I think they're still kind of dealing with the Stanley Cup hangover.
And then you've got I think it's Florida, who that's another
I've
head to
been
head
in that one.
that's important.
Hmm.
You gotta win that if you're not winning these West Coast games. You got 2 games against St. Louis, which should be winnable. They're trading people out. You got Philadelphia again, and you've got Pittsburgh, who that's a direct competition game. I mean, you can argue there's a path for them to get the top wild card, and I think you could maybe win a game or two against Carolina if they're playing well. But
I mean,
I don't think there's
these
any chance against Boston. I think Boston
no
crushes them in five
best
five
team in the league
games.
right now.
I
I
think
mean, we might win one there. I mean, it just depends. We're talking like the Boston Red Wings matchup when when we had Pavel. It just seemed like
yeah.
everything we threw at them, they beat us.
Yep.
But it's playoff hockey. I mean, I think we're in it right now. I mean, playoff wise, I mean, this should be the mindset. Guys coming back are jumping right into the fire with the playoff hockey, which raises a question mark with Verana. I mean, I think at this point, I think you just run with them, and it's like, hey, buddy, go score as many goals as possible. We're gonna keep you in the lineup.
I think if they're just completely unwilling to play him, and there's something going on there, none of us really have any idea about.
Yeah,
Nothing's really been leaked out
and
or
media's been
anyway.
actually quiet on it, so it's something. I think
Well,
somebody knows something.
Detroit media just, I mean, they toe the company line pretty hard. So
Yeah,
if Eiserman doesn't want it out, it won't be out. And I don't know. That's so weird because you're talking about he might have made a difference last night in Tampa. He's a goal scorer. Like I said, I didn't think Burt looked really good. That top line could have used a little more dynamic goal scoring or
somebody.
playmaking
Yeah,
or just someone who could, on his own go out and get something done. And Verona can do that. And so it's just strange they aren't playing him. Maybe
it
we
is,
see him with Rasmussen out. But you got to wonder if they went to Bergeron over Verona. So
which is paid
is
off.
that
I mean,
it did? I mean, it does, but it didn't last night, right? I mean, Bergeron didn't look really good against Tampa.
my expectation of him against those games are low. That's when the we got to be patient pops right back into my head, and then we get so ahead of ourselves with, okay, it's the first time in how many years where we've been one even considered for a playoff race, but then we get some of these young guys who, I mean, Bergman could be a 25 to 30 goal scorer. He could be. I mean, I think the IQ's there, and if we can get that kid at that level earlier, that would be best case scenario. But
Well,
worst case scenario right now, I think is he just doesn't produce. So if we get anything out of him, I think I'd be impressed with it.
I mean, if you're talking about being a playoff team and you're talking about putting guys in the lineup, you either have to have guys who are PKing and can bring something like Pew Suter, who probably doesn't get enough credit.
No,
He's been fantastic the last couple weeks. You look at Zadina, who since he's come back, the goal scoring isn't there, but man, he battles harder than I've ever seen him battle. He's played on that fourth line. He's looked really good doing it. And then you got guys like Sunquist, who again, he's a PKer. It's weird that he sees power play time, in my opinion, but he PKs. He's a good defensive guy. So you either have those guys, or you need guys who can produce, and preferably you have guys who do both. But those are rare guys that are true two-way players.
Right.
So
I mean, these
if
guys
you're
are getting their depth. We're getting our depth from our young guys right now. I mean, and people are trading, or these the playoff teams are trading for depth. So with battle tested guys. So I mean, we may have to temper our expectations a little bit, but like, yeah, I agree with you on Zadina wholeheartedly. I mean, he's monopolized on his chances. I feel like. I mean, that goal he scored was just a complete snipe the other night between the pad. Was it between the pad and the glove? I mean, that's the Zadina we want, the one that battles, and when he gets into open space, he capitalizes.
all right, we're up on time.
Okay.
Final thought, Josh. They're making the playoffs. You think yes?
Yes, I do. I think they get the 7th seed, and we play Carolina first round.
Okay, you're pretty optimistic. I think they will make it in. I see that eighth seed. I think the Islanders with they have a better team, a little more depth, better
Barzal's out.
overall. He is, yeah, you're right. He is for now. Did they say when he's coming back? I didn't see that.
I don't know. It was the last headline I saw said it was crushing, so I don't know if it's going to be long term, indefinitely,
Okay,
whatever it
well,
is.
if Bartel's out, maybe maybe they will fall down. If he's out permanently, Rasmussen being out is a problem for their wings,
Hmm.
just for depth. But yeah, I think they make the eighth seed and they'll make it in. But we'll see. We'll see next weekend how they play against Boston and what that might look like. I'm kind of excited for the playoffs, but yeah, I don't know. I think they're jumping the gun a little bit.
I am too. I'm just happy we've got some meaningful hockey here. So we'll see how it plays out, and we'll probably see you guys this week.
Yep. Yeah, we'll talk deadline. All right. I don't have anything else. You have anything else?
That's it.
All right, guys. Have a good night. See you later.
Do bye.